Hello and welcome to Geekatplay Studio Tutorials. In this tutorial we'll look on new feature in a Vue 7.4. It's painting textures. I know many people was asking before for these specific options, and this now provides such a great tool that I want to share with you and show how it's work. So let's first create our terrain. It will be our test terrain. We take our camera, move slightly above and point down. The one thing right now, if we click on terrain, right click and go to edit object. Inside the edit object, you notice right here we have different materials, material 1 and material 2. So a few ways you can activate this by. One way, how I click on material 2 and it says which one you want loaded, or if you go on terrain and you open material editor and inside you have it mixed materials, and if after this you go back and click edit object, now it will assign whatever material you select before. So let's do one thing right now. Let's go back to raise, and what I'm going to do, I'll just create small lines. So example, we have it some mountains, and you can notice how altitude is different on all of them. We could assign different materials based on the altitude, but what if, for example, I want this material kind of grow inside and have it in another place on a low altitude? Now with Painter it's much more easy. So let's select, we have it material 2 selected, then by default the first material will assign to everywhere. Now as a brush we can just paint over. So let's have a look around. I want maybe just add a little bit right here. I'll just maybe slightly on a crack. Again, it's all applies before. The softness, the flow, you can modify all sizes. So you can see how we can start applying materials. You can just go around, and so really it's using as a paint. Okay, so let's go maybe make smaller size, increase softness, flow, just make a little bit adjustments. So we even have it smaller line, and you can spend some time even more now to apply, to really paint your textures over your terrain in a way you want it. Create a path, create the roads, snow down, so you can really create. It's one of the greatest tool I think they added. So when we're done, let's click OK now. So at this point, let's look on one thing. Let's see how this actual material paint is handling. So we'll go double time click on our terrain, and you notice what it does. It's modifying distribution materials between what we just paint. So let's go to edit functions, and Vue currently will add additional node. Three things you want to be noticed. One, it's set as a project texture map, and it's creating this in a virtual texture that when you send, it's actually will embed inside your material. Next, it's also setting the interpolation to bilinear, so we don't have it any small kind of cracks. One enhancement, if you want to do, you can add maybe bitmap and bump map and map to this. Okay, so let's close this one. Also, other things you'll notice in our mapping mode, it says to object parametric. So if you can change, it won't actually line up very well, but with object parametric it will stretch with your terrain. So let's do one thing. Let's go enable our highlighters. Let's click OK. Again, let's take our camera and just move a little bit, maybe more above and down, so we can preview from the top. Oops. Okay, there you go. So let's go now to get a little bit this way. Let's go to render. Go to render to screen 640. Okay. And you notice right here where we draw, we have it now this line applied to this material. Of course, if we're going back to our material, we can adjust how much we want to blend it, or let's replace our material with something different. So we'll go ahead and go to landscape and maybe select rocks and plants for one. Let's take our second material. We'll go ahead, select maybe just vegetation, so we can see how they well blended together. Click OK. Okay, let's click preview. So now you notice how we was painting over. Other additional you can use with this painting as well. We used to paint ecosystem on top as well. If you apply the ecosystem layer to this material, this is as well will be populating over your painting. So in some cases, if you prefer to use distribution by the image or other things, you can also apply that way as well. Let's just example select one of the plant. So we'll go select maple, click OK. So let's go now to click on populate. Okay, a couple of things, maybe one increase density and put scaling down, so we'll have a bit more instance to see. We'll click OK and preview one more time. So you notice now we planted trees on the places where we are painting, so it's become even more realistic and much easier sometimes than just paint your ecosystem. In this case, you don't need to worry about that you accidentally deleted or removed some of your ecosystem, and now your all painting of your ecosystem is gone. So in that case, you just paint your materials and apply this ecosystem over the distribution, over the layer you want to do, and that is almost embedded with easy to use. So let's go load some atmosphere for this. You know what, and I'll just select some atmosphere. Okay, now I like actually a bit more contrast atmosphere. So let's see if we let's try this one. Not too dark. Let's load it. Sometimes it's kind of hard to find just the right atmosphere. But maybe we come back and take this one strong. Okay, let's take main camera, readjusting. Okay, and I think we're ready for our final render. Okay, so here's our final image, and you can see how we paint our materials over now with easy, just only in a place we want it. And we also use that paint map for the distribution for our ecosystem, and you can see huge potential for this painting when you use it, how I said before, roads, path, maybe on the mountains, snow layout, maybe river bends where you want to put it rocks or other materials just on a slide. This is one of the greatest addition to 7.4, and just try play around, and if you do not yet have it, go on the Eon software website and download. It's a beta currently, but update for your Vue application. Again, remember, this is beta update, it's not official release, so you may find couple problems, but so far when I was testing, it's very solid and its work actually very good. Thank you for watching these tutorials from Geekatplay Studio. Please visit us on the web is www.geekatplay.com.